often rush to the after of Christmas, but I'm learning there's a hidden, powerful, peaceful transformation happening in the before. We just need to slow down and enjoy it. I recently spent a wonderful day sorting through the decor, preparing a spot in my home to decorate, and then putting up the skeletons of the decor. My family was so excited to see me doing this, and my heart was warmed to see that excitement. I'm going to share what happened with you today. If you find yourself relating, you may want to subscribe so you can see what happens in the future too. As I'm looking in the bins, I am just filled with memories because you see my decorations were gathered over 49 years. I thought about all the homes we've lived in, how I use the decorations, how I gathered them, and how much fun I have every year moving them around and doing new things with the decorations. I had one year, 2022, when I went a little bit overboard with those Christmas trees. I probably wouldn't do that again, but now that I have them, I have a lot of fun. And the neat thing is that my daughter lives in the apartment in our basement, and after I've decorated, then she has fun shopping the decor too, and I have fun seeing what she's doing. One thing that made the sorting extra special this year is that one of my sons, the one that helped me clean the garage, decided that I needed some better tables. And so these two long white tables that are behind me came from him, and it just made it fun. And this year is a little bit more organized. All of these bins that are along the front have all the outside lights. My husband's in charge of those. He could do some decluttering, but those are his decisions. What you see me doing right now is that I'm looking for a large lamp because I have two of them and it got stuck in the wrong bins. I'm lucky I found it last year. I just honestly didn't do quite enough sorting and emptying and arranging the bins. So I found I wasted a great deal of time and experienced some aggravation trying to find certain things. And wouldn't you know, I'd see it when I didn't need it, and then when I'd go back to find it, I couldn't remember where it was. It was just so miserable that I decided this year I was going to do a better job. And the reason I do this sorting is because I used to have to bring all those bins in the house, and they'd be in the hall and in the rooms, and we were trying to live around them because I take my time and I really enjoy it. It finally occurred to me, why don't you sort them outside of the house? And then you see that stack of bins that's behind me by the big shelves? Those are all empty. And then my son put them up back on the rack so that they're out of the way. Never occurred to me to do that before, and it was so easy. In fact, it's kind of funny. I said, can you do this for me? It'll be easy. He said, oh, everything's easy for me. The very same day, we had some nice folks come and help us with the leaves in the yard. We'll probably have to have them come back again. But there were so many leaves and they were blowing all over the neighborhood. My husband's been sick, and I wasn't up to taking care of them either. And it was such a good feeling to come back here and see it all cleaned out and all the beds cleaned out. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to make my spring cleanup so easy. Of course, you can see we still had plenty of leaves, and wouldn't you know, by Monday, they were all down again. But now I'm really encouraged. And when the leaves, they all have fallen, I'm going to have them come back again. As you can see, we have so many trees, so many leaves, it really would take 2 visits. But you know, when your health is not the best, and you have a lot of trees, it's a blessing to be able to do that. But look how beautiful that is. Oh, that tree is so beautiful. I love it. I decided that I'd work on the entry. It really hadn't been cleaned for so long. The dust was so thick. There were lots of marks on the walls. And because it needed to be cleaned up the entry in the hall, I knew I better get up the dust first. Otherwise, I'd just have a mess when I was trying to clean it with the rag. I really like this vacuum of mine. It makes things so easy. And I have to tell you, I was in the house probably 10 years before it occurred to me to do this. I was down there trying to dust it all, and it was a mess. Sometimes a little slow on the uptake. My goal was to have the entry look really nice, and that's one reason I like kind of go slow with my house, because I felt like it's too bad to put up the pretty garland and everything I'll be putting up and then feel disturbed every time I walked up the stairs and saw the dirt and saw the marks on the wall and knew that the carpet was really dirty, because it's a special thing to decorate for Christmas. And that's another reason I like to start a little bit early, because I don't want to feel pushed. In case you're wondering how I'm able to do all of this on the same day, because a lot of you know I have fibromyalgia. Well, Apple recently updated the iOS on the phone, which makes the camera work better, but it also uses more battery. And so the battery will run down quicker, which means I have to take breaks. I usually will stop and move the film onto my laptop, and then while my phone is recharging, I'm kind of playing around with editing. By the time my phone is ready to go, I'm ready to go. And so this day, well, I got a lot done. I felt really good the whole day because I was taking so many breaks. I think that's just good advice for anybody, whether they have a chronic illness or not. Sometimes we just push ourselves too hard, or we just keep going too long, and then we get too tired. And then when we think about doing the next thing, it just seems too overwhelming and too exhausting. So we have a really hard time getting started. And then when we get started, we do too much and we get too tired, and it just becomes this vicious cycle. That's something I've really worked on since I got long COVID. I'm doing much better, thank you. You gotta pace yourself. Do something, do some work, then rest. When you feel better, do it again. You don't want to just stop, not do anything again, ever, because then it becomes a cycle of not doing anything. And I've been in both ends of the cycle, and being in the middle, doing something, rest, doing something else, resting, is far better for your physical health and your emotional health. Now I'm going to do something that's really fun. I've looked forward to doing it for a long time, but I just didn't get around to it. But I thought, now's the time. I want to make the entry look really nice and really warm. And that blank wall as you go up the stairs was really bothering me. So I decided to put together a gallery wall. That cross stitch you're seeing with the tree is a family tree, and I made it for my mother-in-law. And then when she passed away, I got it back, but the frame was really terrible. So I got it professionally framed. And then the other cross stitch you see over to the far left, it has a house on it. I made that for our family, and I have hung it up and taken it down over the years. So I thought, now that I have the family tree all framed, I would make a nice gallery wall and display nice pictures of our parents and some other family trees that I made when I was selling graphics. They are the small family trees that you'll see. I used to sell graphics for a living, and I had a kit that you could get where you could make your own family tree and then have it printed out as a photo. So that's what I've used. I have my family tree, I have Gary's family tree, and then I have one for my immediate family with Gary and I and our 4 children. So you'll see when it gets finished. I think it looks really nice. I'm certainly not scientific about the way I hang these up generally. I just kind of hold it in place and try to figure out where the nail will be and hold my finger there, and then if I can't get the hammer right then, just kind of get the nail and push it into the wall, try to make a deep enough dent that when I come back I can find it. And no, this doesn't work perfectly. I usually have to move some of the nails around a few times. But I figure, hey, someday I'll fill in those nail holes, and it's no harder to fill in 3 than 1. have a rough idea of how I want the garland to end up this year, but I thought, I need to try to be a little different. So I experimented with some looks to see. I've always thought it might be interesting to have the garland at the bottom, so I was playing around with that look.
It's the night before Christmas, the night before Christmas.
I quickly could see that just looked dumb, at least to me. So I just put it on like expected, and then I decided that I would use some eucalyptus. I have tons of eucalyptus. I bought an overabundance of eucalyptus one spring. It was 2022, my big overabundance year. But it looks nice. I didn't know my family would have such a strong opinion about eucalyptus on a garland, but they did. At one point, my husband thought I was taking it off because after the test strip, I just decided I'll put all of the garland on, then I'll come back and I'll put all the eucalyptus on. And so what he saw was just eucalyptus at the bottom, but not any eucalyptus above it. And he goes, "Oh, don't take it down." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm just going to put this part up later." And he's like, "Oh, good." I had such fun doing this, and I wasn't intending to finish the whole garland look. Just get it up, take my time, thinking about what I want to do to polish it up at the end. But I decided I really can't even figure that out until after I get the living room tree set up, because they always kind of bounce off each other, and I still haven't decorated the tree.
Oh, the lilac snow, drifting down so soft and slow, outside my window, I watch it go. Oh, the lilac snow.
The carpet was the main reason I decided to clean everything before Christmas, because I knew that seeing the dirty carpet would kind of spoil the effect for me, and it did. It was really, really dirty. Even I was surprised at how dirty the water was, but it was the end of the day. But I have been resting, and it was such a relief, and it's just made it look good, and I'm so glad I did it.
Tell secrets of long ago, of carols sung, of gifts sweet known.
Well, I hope to see you again. Bye.
Snow whispers soft.